There is an unwritten rule when it comes to being a trader, right? The fancy watches, the fancy cars, the fancy houses. A lot of people are going to be asking, where'd you get the money for that? But the unwritten rule, according to this video, is why you should never tell anyone that you day trade. So very curious to see why he does this, right? It goes back to the meme on the internet, right? I'm not going to tell anybody I won the lottery, but there will be signs kind of situation. So it's kind of one of those unavoidable things. Let's see what he has to say.
Hello everyone, this is Kay. How are you? I hope you're having a great day today. And I want to talk about something a bit different today. Not the strategy and not the chart pattern, but something that happens outside of the charts. And it can seriously affect your trading performance. And that is telling people that you day trade. I know when you're excited about trading, you naturally want to tell people like your friends or family members or co-workers. It seems harmless, right? But honestly, this can mess with your focus, your confidence, and even your result in performance.
I can agree with that, right? But in reality, right, it's true. Putting things out on the internet with the whole internet feeling like they have every right to tell you how you're doing it wrong is tough. So another reason that you may not want to tell people what you do is they may get very envious of you, right? I've lost friends, and I've definitely hurt relationships when it's just like talking about course of business, right? So I get it. I get it. Fighting words. I don't want to have any fights. I only read the live comments. That's right, because you guys are the best. You guys are real outliers. It's called a boss. Listen, yo mama ain't my boss. I'll put it that way. Yo mama is not my boss, and I did not want to hear from anybody who wants to give me comments like that.
Performance. If you ever wondered why many professional traders stay quiet about their work, there's a good reason. So today, I'm going to break down why telling people you day trade actually backfires and what to do instead, based on my own experience and what I've seen in other traders. When you are new to trading, you're excited, you're pumped, and you have discovered this exciting new world, and you want to share that feeling with other people around you. So you may tell your friends, like, hi, I started my trading journey. Or you mention it to your parents, or just drop it casually at work. And then the questions start coming. So
this is one of the things that I've developed is that I don't tell people what I'm working on until I'm done. It's like, I equate it to like when you named your child, right? There's probably somebody in your life that if you said, oh, I want to name my son Elliot. Oh, I want to name my son Colin. They'd be like, wait, that's a terrible name. Oh, how could you want to do such a thing like that? Oh, and you're like, I don't think I asked for your opinion. I was going to tell you what it is versus like just showing up with this is Elliot, right? They're not gonna be like, oh, what a terrible name. They're gonna be like, oh my god, Elliot's so cute. And so in that regard, I am that way where I don't want to talk about something until it's done. That way I can be like, look what I did. But there's things like the US Investing Championship where I got to talk about it in the midst of it. But we're definitely going to sing all of the praises once it's over.
how much did you make today? Or so when are you buying your Lambo? Or is that just gambling? Some people are curious and some are skeptical and some honestly just don't get it. Before you knew it, your trading journey is no longer just yours. Every time you have losing day, it's not just between you and the chart anymore. You start imagining what other people may think about you. And every winning day, now you feel pressure to keep winning because you have created expectations from others.
This is real. This is super real.
Trading is already a psychology game. Adding other people's doubts or jokes or unrealistic expectations on top of that is like trading with a heavy backup with lots of heavy bricks, and it slows you down. This is why lots of traders unknowingly create extra pressure they don't really need. When I started,
that's so true, right? And like one of the things is the flexing, right? And that's something Mahesh, our CEO, he's like, Chris, I don't want you being showy, right? So he's like, you're only allowed to wear one Rolex. and I don't do lifestyle videos and things like that because exactly that, right? Like what is that image that we're trying to show to people the reality of trading versus the dream that a lot of people want to sell for trading, right? The rented Lambo, the rented mansions, things like that. Versus like the reality is trading's a lot of work. Trading is meant to be boring, but you can be very successful doing the work in a boring environment.
Started trading seriously, I made exact mistake. I told my friends, my family, basically anyone who asked what I was doing, and to be honest, at first it felt good. I was excited to say, yes, I am a full-time trader, but then the reality hit. People start asking me every single day, so how much did you make today? Or how much did you make last month? Or are you sure this is real job? Or you're just gambling? At first I laughed, but over time, those comments started to live in my head and also in my emotion. When I had a losing day, I didn't feel the loss. I felt embarrassed. When I had the winning day,
Ooh, I didn't feel the loss. I felt embarrassed. Ooh. That's real. That's super real. And dude, I get that. I mean, 2,000 videos on YouTube, 2,500 videos on YouTube. I get that. I get that very much.
I felt pressure to keep the image. I started to rush trades, over explaining myself and making decisions not based on my system, but based on what I imagined others would say. None of this happened.
Oh, this rings very true. If this is ringing true to you, type true in the chat. I want to hear from you guys.
Had anything to do with the market. It was all self-inflicted pressure. In Japan, we say 口は災いのもと means the mouth is the source of disaster. Basically, sometimes saying too much invites trouble, and in trading, that could be more true. Eventually, I realized this wasn't sustainable. I didn't need to constantly defend my trading. I need to focus. So here is what I started doing.
That's something. I'm glad he said that. What's up, Carol? I'm glad he said that. Defending your trading. Trading's hard enough without having to. You guys got to be. You don't have to do this on the internets, right? You don't have to enter the U.S. Investing Championship. I can't wait to enter the U.S. Investing Championship. By the way, I'm so excited about that. It's going to be the greatest. But you really can keep quiet, and I suggest the keeping quiet, because when people want to, man, him going back to saying the loss felt like an embarrassment, right? But he had a successful system. He had I don't know, maybe he had a 57% win rate, something like that. And 43% of the time, right? If somebody's like really up in their business, you got to explain that you have a loser, and this is why. I get that, man. I get that.
Doing, and I rank them from number 3 to number 1 based on how much they change the game for me. If you're still learning or testing strategies or building your confidence still, you don't owe anyone an explanation. Silence is actually your friend here. When you don't have to deal with people's questions or skepticism, you can focus on the real work, that is building consistency. I wish I had kept quiet earlier, so that it would have saved me a lot of unnecessary stress. If you're serious about mastering my Ichimoku trend flow strategy and becoming a consistent trader, join Global Trading.
Oh, he's doing a little ad read right there. Let's keep going.
This doesn't mean you should trade in isolation forever, but instead of telling people, find a small group of people who actually get it. For example, other traders would understand drawdowns or discipline or the ups and downs of this journey.
And that's why our outliers are the best. Honestly, that's one of the best things about the Discord, right? Is working with each other, sharing those wins, sharing those losses, sharing different strategies, right? Having that community, because in real life, it's really difficult. Even my friend who is somewhat interested in the market, like he couldn't do what we do. I don't think he's mentally prepared for what those ups and what those downs look like. Certainly not prepared to invest the time to learn strategies that have a positive expectancy, right? He's more of a just dollar cost average into an index and just call it a day. And that's fine. That is totally fine. And I want you to come up with something that fits your personality, and that fits his. But it is great to have somewhere that you can share those share those experiences, right? And we did drain the swamp from people like Yo Mama.
When you share your experiences with people who understand, they don't just judge you, but instead they support you. This is exactly why I built my private communities. It's a space where traders can share honestly without worrying about judgment or random comments. And the turning point number one was to protect your own edge and stop explaining to others. And this was my biggest turning point. Your edge means your mindset, your strategy, and your discipline is actually your biggest asset. The more you talk about it to people who don't understand, the more energy you waste explaining or defending by yourself. When I stopped talking about my trading to random people, I noticed my focus went up and I wasn't distracted by what people think. And I was just trading. It's kind of like working on something great in silence. And then one day, people just notice the results. And that's way.
Yeah, and it's like LeBron, right? I don't do sports, but I know of LeBron. But I do know one thing. LeBron spent hella time practicing, hella time honing his skill, hella time getting better and better and better, and missing thousands and millions of shots. But now, on the other end of it, he's a superstar, right? Even a guy with the itty bitty baby brain knows who LeBron is. You got to work in silence, right? You got to go in the lab. I've heard people say, go in the lab and don't come out until you've accomplished what you went in the lab to do. And trading for a lot of, in fact, I mean, if you're not putting YouTube videos out there, I don't recommend talking about it to anybody outside of our Discord, because they're not going to understand. They're going to judge you. But yeah, document your progress for yourself and not for others. Unless you're trying to get in the US Investing Championship, then that's different. EXT? I thought that was the truck. Do they still make the truck? I don't think they make the truck anymore. I don't know. Share with people who understand, right? You guys, the outliers. I know you guys understand.
It's quality over quantity. And number three, please remember, silence equals to focus. The less you explain, the more energy you save for analyzing the charts. So in conclusion, if you're constantly telling anyone you are a day trader, that means you are probably adding invisible pressure to your trading journey. So please,
dude, he's so right. 100% right.
Please protect your focus by keep things private while you're building it and surrounding yourself with the right people and let your result do the talking. It's very simple, but trust me, it's really powerful. If this helped you see why silence matters in trading, please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more real talks like this.
I think this is great. Now, if you're ready to save time, make money, start with less risk, click one of these two videos and we'll talk soon.